Hello there. Here we are with issue 44, the bonus. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Sith Infiltrator, the Scimitar. All right, so this should be pretty interesting. So this was Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator. It began life as an armed star cruiser designed from the workshop of CNR Design Systems, said to be one of the fruits of the creative genius of Wraith CNR. The renowned designer's involvement in the project was later disputed, and the ship is thought to have actually been designed by Darth Tenebrous, the master of Darth Plagueis. So that's pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and look at the technical specifications. Again, it's from the CNR Design Systems. Armed Star Cruiser, built as a unique two-deck Sith Infiltrator. It's 26.5 meters long. Top speed is 1,180 kilometers per hour. It's got a high temperature XC ion drive array, the CNR SSD 11-A Class 3 hyperdrive, not extremely fast hyperdrive. It's affiliated with the Sith, obviously. One crew and up to 6 passengers, and it's got 6 low-profile laser cannons, 4 original fittings with 2 extra added later. Influential design. Whatever is its true genesis, the original ship was heavily customized. The Infiltrator had a pair of folding wings built on either side of a round cockpit, a design used on T-class long-range personal cruisers such as the Valsen, used by earlier Sith Lords, including Darth Bane. This design would later resurface on the Eta II Jedi Starfighter and eventually on the TIE series vessels used primarily by the Galactic Empire. In front of the round cockpit was a rare Stygium crystal-powered cloaking device that gave the ship the ability to elude even the most advanced security technologies, enabling the Infiltrator and its master to make a stealthy approach when required or to evade pursuit on missions all over the galaxy. If Maul chose to stand and fight, it took only a moment to deploy 6 concealed solar ionization cannons, which could fire several bursts a second. Armed and dangerous, the ship was able to carry 6 passengers, and its total cargo capacity was 2.5 tons, most of which was devoted to Sith paraphernalia. This was housed underneath the cloaking device, where a series of compartments contained various equipment for Darth Maul's missions, including 3 Dark Eye probe droids, several interrogation droids, and numerous security droids and spying equipment, along with a variety of torture devices, bombs, and mines. Also on board the Infiltrator was a modified Raslan FC-20 speeder bike known as the Bloodfin, whose only special equipment was a high acceleration engine which enabled Maul's Sith speeder to reach amazing speeds and turn tight corners without needing to power a weapon or a sensor array. All the vehicle's energy could be diverted to providing acceleration required. The open crescent-shaped design also gave it excellent visibility in all directions. I can tell you, when that little speeder came out, that was like, that's the coolest thing ever. I thought that speeder was really neat. And then playing Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic, or not Knights of the Old Republic, just Star Wars: The Old Republic. They came out with one of those speeder bikes, and because you could use speeders to kind of get around a little bit faster. And they came out with one of those speeder bikes, and it was like, yeah, that was pretty cool. Everybody wanted to get one. So yeah, where are we at? Darth Maul relied heavily on probe droids to find his prey and programmed his speeder to decelerate and enter a wait mode when dismounting suddenly. Taken by the Republic. After Maul's last mission, the Infiltrator passed into the hands of the Republic, but when its automated defenses killed the first technicians to inspect it, Jedi Master Saci-10 was asked to help in securing the craft. Large amounts of spying equipment and more was found, but the onboard computer systems had been erased. The Infiltrator then disappeared en route to the Quat drive yards for study, but was recovered by Darth Sidious, who used it during the Clone Wars to transport himself and General Grievous to Dathomir, where Sidious had a duel with his former apprentice and Night Sister leader, Mother Talzin. There you go. Housed in the Sith Infiltrator's distinctive long prow was a formidable full-effect cloaking device that enabled the ship to gain instant invisibility on command and then reappear as quickly as a shadow. Darth Maul's ship was the first vessel of its kind to use cloaking device of this magnitude. To make it fast as well as stealthy, it was also equipped with an experimental high-temperature XC2 ion drive array that would resurface in future sonar designs. With the Infiltrator's hyperdrive was an unmodified but very powerful SSD-11-A Class 3 unit. So there you go. Maul's final mission. After Maul completed a mission to dispose of key Black Sun Vigos, the Master assigned him to track down Queen Amidala, Naboo, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, we already know about that. Digital renders. Most of the, and this is our behind the scenes here, most of the vehicles and spaceships that appeared in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, were created digitally using CG techniques, although their design was developed with the aid of conventional sketches. Sets were built to enable the live actors to interact with equipment that would later be added digitally, including the ramp leading from Darth Maul's ship. His speeder, the Bloodfin, which was docked on board, was based on concept art by Doug Chiang. A mock-up constructed out of metal and plywood gave the general shape of the speeder. This was then covered in blue fabric, which was later replaced with a detailed digital version created by Industrial Light and Magic, even down to the control console, although the practical version did include an adjustable headrest for the actor's convenience. So there you go. Pretty cool. Visiting Saleucami. I don't know how to spell it or say it, but I can apparently spell it. So this isn't terribly significant. It does have some significance though. So basically, it's a planet that is the only habitable planet in its solar system. So that was interesting because the whole solar system was bombarded by asteroids and that kind of thing. So let's have a look here. So it's in outer territories, the Saleucami system, the Saleucami or sector in the Saleucami system. Its diameter is 14,920 kilometers, which is larger than Earth. Climate is temperate, desert, mountains, volcanoes, caves. Population is 1.4 billion, which is pretty high. The Wurian, Weequay, Gran, humans, Twi'leks, and others, basic and Wurian. So there was no indigenous intelligent species there. So the only intelligent species were those that actually settled there. But it ended up getting claimed by the Techno Union, and the Union marked it for its transformation into a new techno world. And industrialization took precedence when sector corporations moved in to exploit the planet's geothermal energy. So that was one of the things that had great geothermal energy. Talking about some of the craters. The craters end up releasing some of the vents from the down in the Earth's crust and that kind of thing. Also made the craters became large enough when the asteroids hit it that some of the seas and all that kind of stuff. Farming on Saleucami. At the Battle of Geonosis, clone troop, and this is one of the things from Clone Wars. So this is one of the significance about this planet. Clone Wars trooper Cut Lawquan survived an attack that killed or injured most of his team. He deserted and married a Twi'lek named Sue, becoming the adoptive father of her children. To avoid being found by the Republic, the family lived on a farm on Saleucami, but Lawquan was away delivering his first harvest when clone troopers hunting General Grievous visited the homestead. On his return, Lawquan helped them to defeat a squad of droid commandos, and cared for their injured captain, in return for which he allowed uh, he was allowed to enjoy his freedom, so they didn't turn him in for desertion, even though they really wanted to, because clone troopers are very loyal to each other, and the idea of desertion is like very significant to them. Um, so yeah, this is talking about a lot of the just the kind of the landscape and all that kind of stuff. Farming and trade. Large, fresh craters often encircle hot springs or lava veins, and as these locations the very first colonists would settle. Um, let's see. I'm just trying to see if there's anything significant here. During the Clone Wars, Saleucami was a valuable member of the Confederacy of Independent Systems. As a result, it was named by Supreme Chancellor Palpatine as part of the Triad of Evil, along with Felucia and Magneto. Uh, Despite a lengthy Republic campaign and some isolated skirmishes, the planet remained relatively untouched. Through the majority of the fighting, the settlers on Saleucami wanted to avoid the destruction that war brought and sought to live a simple existence in peace, preferring only to battle the planet's elements. So obviously, I mean, they're not going to want to do that fight. So the battles on Saleucami late in the Clone Wars, when the Jedi realized that General Grievous was in the Saleucami system, they sent a task force including a light cruiser, 3 frigates, and 3 cruisers under Obi-Wan Kenobi's command. Their mission was to detain Grievous and rescue his captive Eth Koth and the Republic ships. When the Republic ships emerged from hyperspace just as Grievous was preparing to land on Saleucami. After a pitched battle in space, Grievous and his ship's infantry droids boarded landing ships headed for the planet when the Jedi in close pursuit. This led to a small skirmish during which clone captain CT 7567, nicknamed Rex. So if you didn't know what his number was, it was CT 7567. Nominally under separatist control. Oh, he was injured. Nominally under separatist control, the planet fell to the Republic shortly before the end of the Clone Wars, and it was during the mopping up operation on Saleucami that Stas Ali was killed when her 74Z speeder bike was destroyed by CC-8826 and his wingman. So we talk about that because that is what our behind the scenes is about. So considering Saleucami played such a small role in the Revenge of the Sith, it has spawned an astonishing range of merchandise featuring Stas Ali, Commander Nio, and his lieutenant. To coincide with the original release of Episode 3 in 2005, Hasbro released a 3 3/4 inch Stas Ali figure as part of their deluxe line, including a break-apart BARC speeder bike to recreate the fierce fighting from the film. Later in 2007, Hasbro released a Treachery on Saleucami's 3 3/4 inch battle pack that featured Commander Neo, and his lieutenant. Both were with weathered paint jobs on their own speeder bikes. The bikes were identical to Stas Ali's 2005 release, and together they enabled owners to recreate the scene when Order 66 was given. And Ali was killed in 2008. Commander Neo was released as a single card 3 3/4 inch figure with a clean paint job in the Saga Legends line. This figure was one of 5 chosen by fans as the winner of Fans' Choice Poll and included an Episode 3 collector's coin. Neo was also the subject of a mini bust by Gentle Giant, reenacting the moment he's told to execute Order 66. This was limited to just 1,500 pieces as a exclusive for the 2007 event in Tokyo. Neo was also part of Sideshow Collectibles Militaries of Star Wars 1/6 scale 12-inch figure line, complete with a character-specific white display stand. Both Gentle Giant and Sideshow Collectibles produced all 5 screen scene clone commanders from Revenge of the Sith in 2014. So the 5 screen scene commanders, Rex would be one, Cody would be one, and then Neo. I'm not sure who the other 2 are. So Rex was the commander underneath Anakin, and Cody was the commander that was underneath Obi-Wan. So quite often, because during the Clone Wars, Anakin and Obi-Wan were working together. So Rex and Cody did a lot together as well. Let's get back to here. In 2014, LEGO released Star Wars Battle on the Saleucami Battle Pack based on the scene from the Clone Wars, which included a BARC Trooper minifigure with blaster and speeder bike, 2 battle droids, 2 super battle droids, a STAP, and a droid defense station. I don't know what a STAP is. So there we go. Landing on water. This is our Secrets of Spaceflight, and I kind of reviewed this a little bit in the build video. So it's very possible, and it happens apparently all the time. So you can one of the things with the YT-1300 is that it's highly interchangeable and configurable. So you can have fixed floats. Many commercial owners or captains of the YT-1300s run regular trade routes between waterworlds, opt to have their ships outfitted with specially designed rigid buoyancy aids. These make setting down on a sea or lake easy and safe and keep the hull above the waves. To stay afloat and balanced, the YT-1300 needs to be fitted with 8 rigid pontoons and floats constructed from an ultra-buoyant material. These fixtures are suitable for long-term use on the ship, and while they are only really intended for water landings, it is also possible to land on solid ground with them attached. They are robust enough to support the ship directly, but only lazy pilots make such landings, since the pontoons are designed to allow the landing gear to be deployed through them in the usual way before touching down. So you could put down the landing gear, with them on. Temporary floats, and that's what this is showing, is the temporary floats. It's only for those that only visit water worlds from time to time. There's another option, inflatable floats that can be deployed when needed, and these are particularly handy for visits to planets that have cities on both land and water, such as Naboo, where the human capital of Theed is mirrored by the Gungan city, Ota Gunga, below the surface of Lake Paonga. Inflatable pontoons look very much like their solid counterparts, but are much less robustly made. This makes them a fraction of the cost to fit. So this is what the pontoons would look like. And so you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so that would give you your flotation. Though if you have the flotation ones, then you have to have the pressurized gas supply and all that kind of stuff. So emergency measures. In an emergency, it is possible to set a YT-1300 down on water without flotation aids at all, since the challenge of keeping a starship sealed against the vacuum of intergalactic space is far greater than keeping water out of it. The Corellian Engineering Corporation guarantees a YT-1300 forced to make an emergency splashdown will have no problem staying afloat, although the depth to which it will partially submerge depends on what local gases are present. Launching after such a landing is also no problem, but the manufacturer insists that all hatches should be properly secured before attempting to take off. If the crew don't want to get wet, the only way to exit the ship following the emergency landing on water is through the upper hatch on the port side of the ship. That'd be the hatch that Lando went out to collect Luke. If the ship's sitting high enough, then you can use the airlocks on both the starboard and port side. And then in the behind the scenes, it talks about what happened in some of the comics. So the idea of that the Millennium Falcon could make a splash landing and float on water was first mooted. I don't know what mooted, M-O-O-T-E-D. Not sure what that means. Never seen that word before in my life. Mooted by veteran comic writer Archie Goodwin, an early contributor for the expanded universe, who created many characters for its rich history. In issue 13 of Marvel's first run of Star Wars comics, Day of the Dragon Lords, Goodwin shows Han Solo and Chewbacca skipping the Falcon across the surface of the water world of Drexel, where Luke Skywalker has joined a local struggle against the Dragon Lords. But although the old YT-1300 is able to float indefinitely after this emergency landing, most of her hull remains submerged in the water. 5 years later, the Marvel Star Wars series, or Star Wars issue 74, The Iskalin Effect, a story by regular writer Mary Jo Duffy. The Falcon visits the water world of Iskalin, uh, but this time she merely lands on a floating landing platform during her crew's search for Rebel Alliance intelligence agent Tay Vanus. And then they give you this little cutout and talk of, from the comic book. I'd have to say the art is not that great. Let me get this up here. So that's supposed to be Han and Leia, and Leia looks like she's Asian, and Han looks like looks like he's got green hair first of all. So and he's got a very strong chin, stronger than he actually does. So interesting. There you go. So that's everything in this issue, and this is what we did this time, and that's here. I haven't taken it in to clean it, but I will be doing that soon, so that way when I do get ready to prime it and paint it, it'll be ready to go. And we didn't do this. I could test fit it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's going to go in. I have no doubt. So next time we have issue 45, we're going to get the mirrored side that we got this time. We'll get this middle section. We're going to get the mirrored side for this and some additional pieces. I'm guessing we'll probably be putting that together, but I don't know for sure. So that is everything for issue 44. Again, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and by all means, comment until your heart's content. And I want to say thank you very much. May the force be with you always.